Wow. What a game. Where was this team for a majority of the first few months of the season? It sucks. I mean, I'm obviously happy for the win, but it's just a little bit of a tease. Like, man, why couldn't we see this version of the team much more frequently in the beginning of the season? Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. Our beloved New Jersey Devils back at the Rock, winners of 2 straight, looking to make it 3, playing Auston Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And what did the Devils do? Our beloved New Jersey Devils defeat the Maple Leafs via the shootout by a score of 4-3. What a thrilling, exciting game. Amazing overtime, the shootout. Cheers to all of you. Win or lose, we booze. It's 3 in a row. 3 victory drink sessions in a row. Cheers to all of you. Cheers to the Devils. Wow. When it hits your lips, guys, even in games like this, when it hits your lips, Markey getting back-to-back starts. Never thought we would see the day. In 2026, goaltenders getting back-to-back starts is like this freakish phenomenon, that does not happen. The analytics people and the sports science, playing goalies back-to-back is this inhumane thing, and you can't possibly tax their bodies like this. Meanwhile, growing up, I watched the great Martin Brodeur. What a legend. Not only was he phenomenal, but his durability and desire to play nearly every night is just part of his overall legacy. But he played back-to-backs on the regular. There were seasons he had 75, 76, 77 starts. It was completely insane. And the way these goaltenders are kind of coddled nowadays, I've talked about this plenty of times before. I obviously do not agree with it. I like riding the hot hand. And if you have a true workhorse, ride him. I'm not saying that, Markey is that guy necessarily right now. But when it calls for it, play your guy. Let him play back-to-backs. I was very pleasantly surprised. And I didn't really have too much of a dog in the fight personally for who I wanted to start tonight. Like, it really didn't matter. But it was interesting when they announced Markey was getting the start. I thought that was super interesting because it's something that the Devils typically would not do. We get to the game. First period, Maselli beats Markey, and 1-0 Leafs. When I'm watching these games, it feels totally different. When you're out of the playoffs, it's just not the same. Honestly, I'm watching it and I want to see them win and do well. But like when they go down early in a game, I don't get too bothered by it because the bothering portion has already come and gone. But anyway, Leafs up 1-0. Couple minutes later, Timo Meier, the March of Meier. Unfortunately, March, again, too late in the season. The season slipped away long before March, unfortunately. But Timo doing what Timo does in March, rips one, and I believe he got it out of the air. I don't even think that puck was on the ice. I think it was slightly above the ice and just fires one past Stolarz for his 17th of the season, assisted by Nico and Dawson Mercer at 7:55. Ties the game up at 1. That is how the period would end. I thought the Devils looked like the better team in that period. Stolarz played well the entire game. The Devils easily could have won this one in regulation if not for Stolarz, the Jersey boy, in net. And before we got Markey, he was on my short list of guys I would have tried to get, for those that remember. We get to the second period, and on the power play, the shot from the point deflects off Nylander in front as he's kind of strolling by Markey. Tough one there. 2-1 Toronto at 3:20. But the Devils never say die. Came back from 3 different 1-goal deficits in this one. They were down 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. Came back every time. Down 2-1. And Grits is heating up. Beautiful shot by Grits, assisted by Brader and Nico at 6:06. Grits is 11th, ties it up at 2, and Grits is hopefully going to be a player for this team for a very long time. I hate talking about silver linings and moral victories and the bright future, and the future is bright. I hate all of that. But one of the small positive takeaways from this season for me personally will be that I do think Grits, assuming his contract gets ironed out, obviously we've had some struggles with RFAs as of late, Dawson and Luke the past 2 summers, but hopefully they get him signed up long-term and he is a contributor for this Devils club for years to come. I love Grits. I know many of you do too. And I think the best is yet to come for this young man. Excited to see what his career brings in New Jersey, but Grits ties it up at 2. And that is how the second period would end. We go to the third, another game in which our beloved New Jersey Devils need to win a third period to win a game. And they didn't win the third period, but they got it to overtime. 2-2 to start the third, and Nyes late in the game, which looked like it was going to be the game winner. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was the game. Tavares takes a shot. Markey cannot glove it cleanly. It hits his glove. It pops up, and Nyes with that beautiful hand-eye coordination right in front of the net, bats it out of midair, puts it into the net. I mean, Markey had to get that one cleanly. He bobbled it, and it resulted in a goal. Nyes is 16th at 13.50 from Tavares. Gave Toronto the 3-2 lead, and I thought that was going to be the game, but not just yet. Oh, not just yet. At 17:39, Grits hits Connor Brown with a really nice pass, breaking to the net, and Connor Brown beats Stolarz, ties it up at 3. That is how the third period would end. Devils with a ton of chances in the overtime. What a crazy overtime. The Leafs had a couple chances. Markey kind of gave a puck up and had to make a couple more saves probably than he would have liked to. But 3-on-3 overtime, extremely exciting to watch. I don't necessarily love it in terms of ending a game this way, but, it is what it is. It is super exciting when you see some of these skill guys out there with all that open ice. Devils had a bunch of chances at the end of the overtime. I think Jack had one and somebody else, like wide open nets. Frustrating they couldn't finish it there. But then we get to the shootout. And my God, was the shootout sick. It got cut off here. Paulie Cotter goes first. We know Paulie Cotter in the shootout, absolute animal. Hangs onto it for a while, gets in super tight. He beats Stolarz, puts the Devils up 1-0 in the shootout. I forget who was up first for the Leafs. Come in, Markey with a save. Jesper Bratt on deck for the shootout. He comes in. He puts on a sweet move. Gives the Devils a 2-0 lead. And then Markey stones Auston Matthews. And that's all she wrote. The New Jersey Devils come up victorious. Coming up victorious in the shootout. You'd love to see it. But what a game. Exciting overtime, exciting shootout. American swagger. Link pinned in the chat. American swagger. Represent USA in the beautiful gold medal win. Hoodies and t-shirts. Link in the chat. We get to the game stats. Devils out shooting the Leafs by a big margin. 47 shots on goal for the Devils, 27 for the Leafs. Face-offs, 50% each. Dead down the middle. Each team won 25 of 50. Leafs go 1 for 3 on the power play. Devils power play not having it tonight. They go 0 for 3. Leafs, 16 hits. Devils with 10 hits. Leafs, 13 block shots. Devils with 11 block shots. Leafs, 16 giveaways. Devils, 18 giveaways. Leafs with 6 takeaways. The Devils with 7 takeaways. That is your tail of the game. 47 shots. I mean, wow. Stolarz really was put to work tonight, and he played a really good game. Player stats. Cody Glass, 2 shots and a hit. Oh, and before I forget, I did put out a video earlier today about the trade deadline for those that are interested. I kind of had a lot to talk about and whatever. So if you're interested at some point, before the trade deadline, you could check that out. It was a video came out earlier today. Nico Hischier, 2 assists with 5 shots for Nico. Wow. 5 shots and a hit. Connor Brown with a goal, 6 shots for Connor Brown. Timo Meier with a goal on 7 shots. I mean, that's crazy. You're talking about 18 shots between Nico Brown and Timo Meier. 2 blocks for Timo. Jesper Bratt with an assist and 4 shots. We got Grits, the 2-point game with a goal and an assist. Jack Hughes, 5 shots. Dawson Mercer, 4 shots. Dilly, 3 blocks and 2 hits. Dougie with 3 shots, a block and a hit. Nemo with 3 blocks. Luke Hughes, 4 shots, a block and a hit. I thought Luke had some jump tonight. And Markey, 24 saves on 27 shots, gets the win. A lot of people were not happy that he was getting the back-to-back starts. But, you know, I'm a Markey guy. And once again, because the season is over, essentially, I can't get too fired up about most of these things one way or another, if I'm being honest. You know, it's just kind of like experimentation. Take it all in stride and see how it goes. But cheers to all of you. Cheers to our beloved New Jersey Devils. Cheers to Markey. What a game. Grits, goals, and back-to-back games now. He had the 2 points tonight. I mean, the future's bright, guys. The future is bright. So curious to see what happens with this deadline, though, because I feel like more so than in a lot of years, there is so many different possibilities. It's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out. And we get to the comments. What the hell's my computer doing? Hopefully I don't have a power outage tonight. And we go to the comments. Trade Luke Jackemeyer says Fitzgerald will be buying big time off these 3 wins. I mean, no. I do think there's a chance a couple players are brought in, but as I've maintained for quite some time, I don't think they are going to be anything substantial. I think they're going to be more depth moves and, you know, the guys that we sell off, I think we're going to try to recoup some assets, whether it's picks, prospects, whatever it may be. And I'm hoping, you guys know how I am. Believe it or not, despite the team sucking this year, I'm still in win now mode because this core is aging pretty quickly. We're not this young team that everyone was talking about for years and years. And it's like the winning was pushed off for so long that the window opened and is damn near closed. And it happens quick. If this team is going to compete anytime soon, it has to be virtually right now. And it's time to act that way. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about, you know, in years from now, maybe competing. I mean, it just can't continue like this. Winning can no longer be talked about as this far away, distant object. It has to be snatched right now while these guys are still under 30. Obviously, Jack is well below that, but, you know, the rest of them. And who even knows about Nico, right? I mean, there's just so many question marks around this team that you have to try to win with whatever version of this group you have next year and the year after. Ron says, SST, why so negative? And then Travelin tells him it's his MO, which it is. I mean, that's just who this man is. Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? What a hell of a game. Arguably one of our most complete games. Everyone looked good. Even Luke didn't look like his usual shit self. Where is this team most of the year? We'd be in the playoffs if this was the norm. I actually said that a couple minutes ago. Luke looked like he had that extra jump tonight. He was flying around. He had a really nice end-to-end rush that he almost scored on. It's just that this team is just so consistently inconsistent. And like I've said, for probably the better part of the past few seasons, they're capable of beating any team when they're on. And when they're playing poorly, they're capable of losing to any team. We've seen them beat some really good teams over the last few years, and we've seen them lose to the basement dwellers as well. And so you never know what you're going to get with this Devils team. Unfortunately, the story of this season is going to be the fact that they just could not consistently perform at a high level, consistently score goals. And after Chicago cut, the entire roster, or damn near the entire roster, decided to just crash out. and the amount of times we only scored a single goal or were shut out this season is absolutely disgusting. And it's obviously a case of too little, too late. I'm still excited for the wins. I was still fired up watching this game, but it is sad, really just sad that they couldn't get it together on a more consistent basis throughout, you know, December, January, mainly, I guess, December and January, really. And early February, I suppose, to be in a much better position. Even if they had won 3 total games more in those months, the rest of the season would be a lot more interesting. Add 6 points to our total now, and we're still not in a great spot, but we're in a much better spot than we're in now. Devils at 60, they'd have 70. Oh yeah, you're talking about they're right there. With 3 more wins than they have now, you're literally right on the heels of the Bruins for the second wild card spot. So it sucks. 9 points out. Who knows? Anything could happen, but mathematically speaking, not looking promising if we're being real. Snow says a top 6 winger is a must. In terms of who's out there right now, it'd be Kyrou. People were talking about this a lot on X before. And, listen, do I think Kyrou would help this team? Yes. Obviously, I do. Kyrou is going to help any team. Assuming you don't trade something crazy for him, that's an improvement for your roster. But people were talking about possibly dealing Nemo for him. And listen, I like Kyrou. His contract is pretty good, but I don't think he's going to be this dramatic game changer that a lot of people would rely on him to be. And Nemo is one of our best trade pieces, I think, in terms of value, what you're going to get back. And so to me, it'd be a little underwhelming to use a guy like Nemo in a trade like that. Now, if we're getting a big time forward who's definitely going to help this club, a guy like Robertson, say. Now, I'm not super high on Robertson just because of what I think he's going to get paid. If it wasn't for that, if he had a contract in place, I'd be all about Robertson. But let's just, for the sake of the exercise, use him. That I think is a little more sensible than a guy like Kyrou. Now, if I'm being super honest, I would love to see Nemo stay here, but I also realize that he will be a guy tons of teams are trying to get, and you got to give to get. We talk about this all the time. You're not going to just straight up rob quality players from other teams. And if you're talking about bringing in a high impact, big time forward, there's a good chance Nemo would have to go. And also his contract coming up in the summer plays a big part in that as well. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. I would prefer to keep Nemo. If there's a deal that improves the team, I've told you guys forever, to me, nobody's untradeable. And being a disciple of the Lou Lamoriello school of hockey, sometimes you got to make the hard decisions. And if you could bring in that special scorer for Nemo, then it's something you got to consider. But anything outside of that, I would probably be a little upset if we trade Nemo, because I think he's going to be very, very good. And he's super young. Would love to see him be here. Ron says Kyrou would be sick. Snow, Fitz going full playoff mode. World's worst gamer, what's going on? Go Devils. Jay Snow, he still hasn't checked the standings. Fitz might think we're in first place. Someone's got to tell him. They gotta be like, listen, sir, we know you haven't looked at the standings, but maybe you should take a peek. World's worst gamer, Fitz going to bring in what wretched player to score? I don't know who he'd even be targeting. It seems like every single season we hear, the Devils rumored to almost every guy that gets traded. And we honestly have gotten absolutely no one noteworthy since the Timo Meier thing. That was obviously a huge rumor and it came to fruition. But since then, we've been literally linked, and by linked, I mean, nonsensical online propaganda, supposedly in on everybody, and we're getting nobody. And I'm not one of these people that's always like, oh, we got to get, the next big name guy. I just want to see this team do well. And unfortunately, at this juncture, I don't think that is going to happen until the legit top 6 forward is brought in, period. It's been a pain point since we dealt to Foley. Never was replaced. Fitz believed he had the answers in the locker room. And then, the patchwork attempts with Tatar did not work. Dodonov, we signed him, and everyone's like, oh, that could be a decent bottom 6 move. And then we see in training camp, they have him on the top line. So, that was his plan for him all the time. No more budget fixes. No more, hopes and dream type acquisitions. Go get legitimate proven players. Please, Bobby, thank you for the super. We should not trade Nemo. If anything, we should trade Luke. Will never happen. If we trade Nemo, we need Thomas or Tage or Robertson type player. No, I agree. Like I said, if you're going to trade Nemo, it's got to be for something super substantial. Obviously, Tage is number 2 on my want list, of my pipe dreamy want list. Brady's number 1. Tage would probably be number 2. And again, I do like Robertson. He definitely is a very good player. I just, you know, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. I think he wants like 13 or 14 million bucks. Like, to trade a lot for a guy like that and have to pay him is a lot. Now, if he had, you know, 3 or 4 years left on his deal at $8.5-9 million, then it's a no-brainer, slam dunk, and you're probably even paying even more for him in a trade. But, you know, that money is going to come into play with all the other needs the Devils are going to have to address. And then obviously there's all the question marks of who else is going to get dealt. Tons of potentials out there, freeing up millions in cap space from all these other guys. And so this is a very interesting trade deadline because I think there's a potential for so many different guys to get dealt for a variety of different reasons, whether it's the guys looking to get themselves in a better situation or the Devils looking to free up a roster spot and cap space. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It could end up being a busy day or it could be completely underwhelming. I mean, listen, I think I'm going to be underwhelmed no matter what, because even if we sell off a bunch of guys, I don't think there's going to be any big pieces coming back. And so I can't get excited about, you know, trading Kovacevic or a guy like Dilly or Siegs for a pick or like you know, they're not going to be impactful pieces coming back, I don't think. Now, could Fitz shock us all and pull some crazy rabbit out of the hat? Absolutely. I'm not counting on it, but it would be nice. You all know what my dream is. I don't think it's going to happen. World's Worst Gamer, thank you for the super. I don't see a note there. I'll see if you had one in there somewhere else. David Chimes, thank you for the super. Luke been adding fire since returning. And maybe he's riding, shout out to Steve the Maniac, suggested that, you know, Luke might be riding the Hughes family bump. You know, they went to the Olympics. Everyone's riding high. And maybe Luke is the beneficiary of that, fired up by his brother's performances. Obviously, he is going to do every single thing in his power between now and 2030 to play his way onto that roster for Team USA in France at the next Winter Olympics. And I'm sure it killed him watching those games and not being able to be there. But hopefully it serves as motivation for him for the next time around. It is in 4 years. Obviously, there's going to be some spots opened up with guys aging out of the team. I think there is a very good chance that Luke will be on that 2030 team. We will see. But hopefully he continues to develop, raises his game, and can help this team be competitive again. I mean, man, it's brutal. Doug says only issue is Cairo has a clause and might not want to be here. I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, if they talk to Cairo and they're like, oh, yeah, you could go to New Jersey and play with Jack Hughes, I'm sure that's a pretty appealing situation for a guy like Cairo, especially coming from St. Louis and where they're at right now. He would probably welcome a lot of different teams if we're being real. But yeah, trading Nemo, just World's Worst Gamer says they were playing against the corpse. No wonder they looked better. Jay Snow, he's got a really good price tag. I'd like a guy with some sandpaper, but there's really not that guy out there right now. That's why you got to try to force something. You make the call and you force their hand. Not everybody has to be officially on the market to get them. You go out there and you drop the phone call and you're like, I know you weren't trying to trade this guy, but what if I send you X, Y, and Z? And I would love to see it happen with Ottawa. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to always dream about it until he eventually probably ends up in Florida. RME, that hoodie's legendary. Thank you. American Swagger. Oh, I didn't show the back. So if you, just a quick little note on the hoodie. If you haven't seen the Jack Hughes interview on Pat McAfee show, you must watch it. They talk about American Swagger. It was kind of Sullivan's motto and what he was preaching to Team USA throughout the tournament. And then the back, GM Billy Guerin, folks. Billy Guerin's motto was whatever it takes. And we got the beautiful whatever it takes on the back. On the website, link pinned at the top of the chat, American Swagger limited edition. Beautiful hoodie. Wes says that was one hell of a game. I completely agree. It was one of the more entertaining games I could recall watching, your Devils games, in quite some time. And the fact that I'm watching it knowing that it's sort of a meaningless game is even more, you know, of a testament to how exciting the game was, because I was dialed in. World's Worst Gamer says 3 in a row. I didn't realize I thought it was 2. That's 3, baby. And then Snow quickly wants to qualify the wins. It says 3 teams who are out of the playoffs, which is true. But you can only beat who they put in front of you, Snow. Anthony says, let's go Devils. Jay Snow, Toronto did sit 3 players. Yeah, they're looking to make some moves as well. I think it could be a very interesting deadline day across the league. Maybe we'll see some surprises. Trade Dougie for Nyes. Man, Nyes is a doggy dog. Dog. Wes, we have 20 games left. If we win 17 out of 20, we have a possible playoff chance. Yeah, you're talking about 17 out of 20 games is 850 points percentage hockey. 850 points percentage hockey for 20 games is like nearly impossible. Listen, I would love to see it happen. That would be the miracle of all miracles. Would love to see it happen. I don't think that it will, but that'd be great. Crazy Alex, the stands are pretty full. Too many Leafs fans. That's interesting. The Leafs, I think, historically travel pretty well to road games, and they could probably come here. They could probably drive here and stay in New Jersey and go to the game for cheaper than Leafs tickets. Although with their struggles, I don't really know what the prices are looking like in a season like this. But typically, Leafs tickets, for those that are not aware, are astronomically expensive. That is one thing as Devils fans, the fan base never really had to deal with. Even during our dynasty years, the glory years, when we were, winning cups and going on deep playoff runs, also a different time in society as well. But comparatively to other teams and other sports, Devils tickets were never expensive. And even today, if you buy them for the face value or whatever, they are super expensive. But if you go on the secondary markets, you could very often get yourself a really nice deal and get in the building to see Devils hockey fairly cheap. Back and all brunch. Did Markey get the back-to-back start? Yes, he did. I'm surprised the universe hasn't collapsed in on itself yet. Yeah, it's crazy. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during the meetings or whenever it was determined that Markey was going to start a back-to-back. There was someone probably in the analytics department or some other department that were stroking out because, all of these metrics and numbers and whatever else they're looking at suggests that this is like elder abuse to start a goaltender on back-to-back games in the NHL, and especially one at the advanced age of, I forget, is Markey 34? I think he's 35 now, right? The advanced age of 36 years old. My God. To put a 36-year-old man in on back-to-back games, someone should call the authorities. Someone should absolutely call the authorities. I don't know how this was allowed. This is a criminal act to have that man play back-to-back games. But yeah, Sweden did it in the Olympics, and it almost bumped USA out of the tournament. That late goal by Sweden tied it up at 1, and I really thought Markey was going to be the complete collapse of Team USA. But he played a great game, and yeah, he played back-to-back games in the Olympics. So it's not this crazy thing that people have made it out to be in recent years. Snow says, I'd like Nyes. Snow says, the Covey extension looks really bad. I disagree with that entirely. I think he's very easy to trade. At $4 million, we signed him before the new cap era. Dude, pretty much everybody's making more than that. Like, I'm pretty sure he's a very easy guy to trade. Right D has a little nastiness to him. I'm pretty sure it'd be easy to trade him, and so it could never be the horrible deal that many people are trying to make it out to be. Yeah, but if he waives the trade protection, it doesn't matter. Now, if we're stuck with him forever and he won't waive, then sure, you could say it was maybe problematic. But I do think if they ask him to waive and he's going to a decent location, I think he probably would. That's just kind of my hypothesis on what would happen with Kovacevic. Ron says Covey was okay tonight, but I agree. Travelin says no 10-ounce cans. That's pretty funny. Shout out to Travelin, my Italy bud. That's he's referencing at, just so you guys know about the 10-ounce cans, at the Olympic Games. They only sold Corona bottles that were these little aluminum 10-ounce bottles. I have no idea why. I meant to look into it. I don't know if it's like some law or some regulation there, but they only sold one type of beer. It was Corona because they must have been the sponsor or whatever. and it was literally these little midget 10-ounce bottles. It was pretty hilarious seeing people walk around with as many as they could hold, walking outside or through the concourse at the arena. World's Worst Gamer, 17 goals from Meyer. Luke says, can't wait to finish 16th. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us kind of thought from a few weeks ago that we weren't going to completely bottom out and they were just going to kind of be this mediocre middle of the road team and end up with a, mid-round pick. And that's probably most likely what's going to happen. John says, Timo's great when there's nothing to play for. Well, I mean, the Devils got to get to March when they're still in the playoff race. He comes alive in March. The March of Meyer. Bonzo said if they played for OT every game, they'd be in the playoffs. It's just, there's so many different things you could point to throughout the season. But for me, it's just always going to come back to this team literally could not score goals consistently. And that was what sunk this team. You cannot win games scoring a single goal. You're just not going to win that many games that way. World's Worst Gamer says, hopefully Gritzuk will get to 20 and 50 next year. I could totally see him being a 20-30 guy or a 25-25 guy. Absolutely. And I think he'll definitely see regular power play time. Even if it's power play too, I think he's going to get that ice. Jay Snow, I think Grits is awesome, especially with the increased ice time. I love this kid. So do I. Ron, Grits is a huge bright spot gamer. I think everybody's pretty high on Grits right now. B-Devil89, I know we had a bunch of shots supposedly, but it seems like Dawson and Timo just close their eyes and swing the stick as hard as they can and miss the net more often than not. I mean, how are you going to say that about Timo when he drilled one home tonight? Oh, I'm super far behind. My apologies. I've been blabbering too much. Let me see if I could catch up here. Got to skip ahead a little bit. World's Worst Gamer, 3 days until the next game. What the hell? Anyway, versus the Rags finally. Yeah, completely ridiculous by the schedule makers, making us wait until March for the first Devils-Rangers game is absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal and completely inexcusable, in my opinion. I just do not see how... The only thing I could think of is that they thought one or both teams would be in the playoff race and that the games could have had like severe playoff implications. That's the only thing I could think of. And so they're trying to build it up that way, but it went the opposite way. They're both terrible teams. The games are essentially meaningless. And it sucks. It really sucks. It should never happen again. They should play early on in the season and then kind of space it out. Jason, Luke going coast to coast was nice. Yeah, he turned on the burners. World's Worst Gamer, we could easily win 4 of our next 6, and then that game versus Boston in those 6 is huge. We need it as an extra. Oh, buddy. Are you trying to convince yourself that this could happen? I think you're trying to convince yourself that it could happen. Doug says, of course, they're going to dangle the hope of playoffs in our face and take it away real quick. It got to be quicker than that. Devs Rule Hockey says, win or lose, we booze. This team drives Yumi and everyone to drink. Yeah, it's been a long year. It does seem like just yesterday was training camp, but I just can't believe the team that went on a freaking 8-game heater and really had me going, really had me fired up, really had me believing, for it all to just completely fall apart like this is brutal. Jay Snow said, Toronto's ass, they've lost like 5 in a row. Yeah, they're struggling big time too. Very curious to see what becomes of that group. Samuel, no idea why I couldn't get this game. ESPN Plus moved to Disney, and I don't have that one. I hate to be this person, but I absolutely hate all of the streaming shit and all these. You need to have all these programs and apps. Like, I don't want to deal with this at all. Just leave the friggin' games on regular TV, please. For people in market, like, I don't want to go on a hunt. And then there's always some bullshit with the app Like it'll freeze up and then I don't know if I'm live or not. Yeah, because it froze temporarily. So now I don't know if this is live or if I'm on a delay. Then I got to close the whole thing, reopen it, and hope that I don't like it at all. For a sport and league that constantly talks about growing the game, they consistently do things that are counterproductive to growing the game. Put the games on regular TV and make it easy for people to find it. Period. I don't want to have to pull up apps. I don't want to do all this shit. Just put it on regular TV, please. Stop taking streaming money. Stop doing whatever. Figure it out. Put the games on regular television and let people discover the sport that way. Because the people who are casual hockey fans or not hockey fans at all are not seeking it out on the ESPN Plus app. Let's be real here. I think I have Hulu and ESPN Plus. I was watching on ESPN Plus. Doug, with all of our clauses on core players, it'd be hard to even get Bratt to move. He'd probably be shocked. I don't think he'd be shocked if he was asked. But, depending on where it is, who knows what he would say. But I don't believe that Fitz really has it in him to break up this core. Richie, Ace Areno called 4-3 this morning, but I had him doing it in regulation. I saw your post. Interesting as hell and played hard. That's all you can ask for at this point. Yeah. Obviously, wins are nice and exciting games are great to watch as well, especially when the team scores more than one goal. And I think that kind of checked all the boxes tonight. Devils win an exciting one. And hopefully they can just keep it going. I mean, my God, if they somehow get to within striking distance of the playoffs, I can't allow myself to be pulled in. And we're still so far away. But like many of you joked about, like I could totally see this team doing it to us, like ripping off like 6-7 in a row. And then you're like, oh my God, can it happen? And it's like, it's not healthy, guys. World's worst gamer winning 5 of our next 7 is realistic, but not sure what that will do for us. It'll make people start getting delusional. That I know. G Orlando, agree, must compete to the end now, no matter what. Culture means everything, and a losing culture is poison. Completely agree. We've talked about the culture before. I think it's been broken for a while. I think it needs some severe adjustments. And I think a guy like Brady Tkachuk, instant culture fix. Pulp Mystic, the destructive force that is Fitzgerald, will step in and put a stop to all this winning ASAP. Don't worry. Trade Luke Jackamire said, you moved me to tears by kicking off the comment section with my comment. Well, that's kind of where I landed, and it seemed like a logical starting point at the time. David Chimes, 2 loser beverages in the last 20 max. Yeah, based on Boston's record and the way Columbus is pure fire, maybe see 100-point 8th place team in the East. Wow. If it takes 100 points to get in, that would be wild. Completely wild. I'm trying to skip ahead a little bit here. Whoa. Dylan says, the only thing that I can think of is the Chicago cut never happened. I would love to see his name is right now. If it never happened, we'd probably be in the playoffs. No, for sure. I think that was the beginning of the end of the season. It is what it is. Samuel, I hate the fact we were so reliant on one injury-prone player. This team has to find some balance scoring and, more important, a step-up mentality. Oh, and some grit and balls would help too. And that comes with bringing in new personnel. I completely agree with what you're saying here. I've had this sentiment for quite some time. And we talk about the scritty guys. Bring in the scrit. Now, who exactly would that be? I don't know. But we know who these guys are. Obviously, again, the shining example of scrit in my book would be Brady Tkachuk. I do not think that he will be moved yet, but if he is, Fitz needs to be aggressive and get in there on the conversation, because if he does get traded and he goes anywhere other than the Devils, it would be the latest sin in a long, long, long line of sins for Fitz. Bobby, thank you for the super. You think Dougie, Casey, and a first would land Thomas? A line of Jack, Thomas, Meyer would be elite. I don't know. Thomas is one I'm not too sure on what that return is going to look like, because there were rumors out there that people were going to pay a fortune for him. And so if I'm looking at that, I would say that might not be enough. You're probably in the ballpark. Either swap a piece out for an upgraded piece or add something else. But I think that's you're kind of in the mix there. But I do think other teams would probably be able to beat that. But there's potential. I don't think Fitz is really truly going big game hunting at the deadline. I could see him trying in the summer. I just don't. It's just rough. The fact that so many of us have such little confidence in him, and we're at such a crucial point of this core group and their age and everything. Like, it has to start coming together very quickly, or else we're never going to compete with these guys on the team. And you're talking about, possibly trying to win a cup in the big Mike Yegorov era. Like, I mean, that's just so far away. So far away. Jake said, Fitz is going to trade the pieces we shouldn't be trading in order to keep this core he so confidently believes in. I do think he's in love with the core. I do think it is to his detriment. I like all these core guys. I do think they will, if they ultimately do get dealt, I do think they will be productive players elsewhere. Just as a group together here in New Jersey, they have not been able to get it done, and it's unfortunate, but I just think that's going to be the story here. Without another big piece or two coming in, I think we've seen what it's going to be. And it does seem like Fitz is in love with them, and I don't think he has it in him to trade any of them. World's Worst Gamer dumped Mercer in the trade for Robertson. I'm curious to see what happens with Robertson. Again, I would like him, but to trade a ton for him and then have to pay him a boatload of money is not the most appealing situation for me. Amagi, Fitz really thought he was cooking with that. I don't look at the standings comment. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm still in disbelief that he said that. Snow said I would still move Mercer. Tropical Flamingo, in the situation standings-wise, when you're out of it, you want to see if guys pack it in or play like it's your job and play for each other, and seeing that in these last three. Yeah, don't lay down and die. Fight till the very end. I mean, I can't even. It would take the most miracle run of all miracle runs, but wow, it'd be so crazy if they even make it interesting. Gleason, when thinking about what we would move Nemo for, you have to realize we have to pay Nemo now, and we probably know he's asking a lot. If not Nemo, another D-man has to be moved. I think two D-men are going to be moved. I don't want to get too much into. I mean, people are going crazy with the trade stuff, but I think we could possibly trade two defensemen. Collect records. Friends I have in Boston seem hyped on the idea of trying to land Kovacevic. Not sure that rumor came from or if it's legit. I feel like I saw that from several places that seemed somewhat credible on Twitter today. And, if that's the case, I don't know exactly what Fitz would be looking to get back from them, but freeing up that money and the spot on the right side would be a nice thing to do. Snow, you're crazy. Someone will definitely take Kovacevic. He's not the player that you believe he is. You've been just clowning him forever. He makes $4 million. Someone will take him. Pro Bolt says Hamilton really needs to go. Eddie Benzie, nice to see them showing some effort. I really liked what I've seen in the last couple of games. Derek the Motor Rider, I bought the Jack Hughes painting from Craig Mahoney. It's pretty fire in person. Oh, shit. That's a sick. I posted that the other day. I thought about buying it too, but I've just been blowing so much money as of late. I really wanted it, but I had to just admire it on online. But congrats, Derek. That is a very sick painting. Very sick painting. Pulp Mystic. Fitz has to enable and support this team's success as much as possible for the remainder of the season, because the idea of this team winning the cup after finishing the basement is very unlikely. I know it's very unlikely, but anything could happen in Jersey. I do think with those couple tweaks, but the big gun, the big piece really needs to come. If we don't get that legit winger to play with Jack, then I'm not going to be excited for anything. For me, it's get that top 6 winger or bust, because without it, my expectations will be probably not as bad as this year, but probably another non-playoff type year. Tropical Flamingo, next up, we finally get the Rags. Let's get 3-0 on the homestand and a 4-game heater. We need to take this shit trash organization, Rags. Max points versus those guys for me would be great. All right, I'm trying to catch up here. Shout out to all of you in the very busy chat here. Justin Name will win enough just to miss the playoffs and get 15th overall pick. That's probably what it's going to be. Bonza said, why are there any Leafs fans? Haven't won since 1967. Because it's Canada. Hockey's religion in Canada. Doug said, we had 2 5-game losing streaks and 2 4-game losing streaks. We aren't making the playoffs. Yeah, I would say those are pretty indicative of a bad team. To have 2 5-game losing streaks and 2 4-game losing streaks is horrible. Completely horrible. Probold says, I don't want Nemitz traded. Hamilton needs to go. I think there's a good chance. Jay Snow, we paid him $6 million in his 37 and 38 seasons. That's an overpay. Who are you talking about? Rapid Blue is the new black. Got my American Swagger t-shirt right before the live started. Great design and idea, Ace. My order is Michael from the great state of Florida. Well, thank you, Michael. And congratulations on getting some American Swagger. Let's go. Hoodies and t-shirts, link pinned in the chat. It's a beautiful design, I have to say. Beautiful design for a beautiful team. The 2026 gold medal winning Team USA Hockey. Michael, we won 3 games in a row, my guy. We didn't actually win 2 in a row. We won 3 in a row. That's right. 3 in a row. Amagi says, Covey has also been absent for such a long time. I don't think he's 100%, to be honest, all bias aside. We know you are the president of the Johnny Kovacevic fan club. Amagi, he's even got his minor league game-worn jersey, folks. That is dedication. Rendich says, I know people don't want to trade Nemitz, but if he wants Luke money, he can get traded, in my opinion. Well, Rendich, I'm curious, what is the most you would pay him? I'm very curious to know what that number would be for you. Corey, Boston reporters, lots of noise around Nemitz to the Bruins. Stay tuned. Oh, boy. For what? I saw something about this on Twitter earlier. Pro Bowl, he might take a bridge deal, but if he wants that much, send him in a package for a player that's similar to Brady or Tage, or one of them. I mean, Tage, I don't think is going anywhere. I don't think Brady is either, but I think there's a much better chance of Brady getting dealt than Tage. 13 child, a lot of players want to stay in Jersey for kids, schools, and wives' quality of life. It's an expensive but great, beautiful state. Allen may have stayed because NHL network opportunity, close proximity. I think the biggest thing was he didn't want to uproot his family and his kids to change schools and stuff. And then obviously, like you said, there's a lot of opportunity here post playing career. I wouldn't be shocked to see him land some sort of gig with the Devils in some capacity. Doug says, hit the like for Ace. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy and for your red hot New Jersey Devils. Red hot. 3 in a row, folks. Who would have saw it coming? Gleason, March Myers, when he takes 8 shots a game to get back up to a reasonable level of NHL production on the year, then people pretend next year he won't average the same amount of points he had for 4 years. I mean, how many points do you want him to get? You've been a hater for a while. And that's a fair point, Jeremy Proper. No state is expensive for hockey players. If you're a pro, I mean, well, listen, it's all relative, but yeah, if you're playing in the NHL, you should be just fine no matter where you are. Bobby, thank you for the super. I'd give Nemo more than Luke. He's better than Luke, and so he deserves more. Nemo has progressed, and Luke has significantly regressed this year. Well, unfortunately, we can't. There's no way we could pay him more than Luke. Luke at $9 million. I don't think his agent's probably going to ask for it. I don't know. What is the lowest number they take? 7 or 7.5, maybe? I'd be so curious, but I think he's worth and will be worth every penny of it. We'll be curious to see how that goes, but they're probably going to start asking for the Luke contract. David says, what's up, Ace? This team is not a tease. 20 games left and only 9 points back now. 40 possible points are still up for grabs. Devils can still make the playoffs. Oh, David. Oh, David. I can't do it to myself. Snow is fully wanting to embrace the tank and says Devils just need to stay in the lottery. Jeremy Proper, Devils have the 3rd easiest schedule left. Doesn't mean much to me, like we talked about before. They've shown they could lose to anybody and beat anybody. David, normally hate overplaying goalies, but who cares right now? Did you see Markey's Kool-Aid smile after robbing Robertson late in period 3 and stopping Nylander and Matthews in the shootout? Yeah, Markey likes to win, and he likes to have fun. And there's nothing more fun than winning, and you see it on Markey's face in his solid outings and in the games that he wins. We totally bought the fool's gold, Doug. We totally did. I'm not running from it. I bought it. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Jam Punk says, guys, don't take that hopium. It's addictive. Jeremy Proper, 143 and only 38 likes. Damn, hit it for your boy. He's a hardworking man. He deserves your love. Appreciate you, Jeremy Proper. Hit the thumbs up for your boy, or you could go get an American Swagger hoodie, too, if you want to do that. Tropical Flamingo, the late 3rd period Markey save was ungodly at 3-3. That might have been his best save of the season. Love to see it after giving up the 1 to Nyes. Yeah, right on the doorstep there. Markey coming in big. Big game for Markey. Hopefully he could play a solid full season next year with no injuries and no BS. And hopefully Jack stays healthy. It's a lot of things to hope for. But I do think with relatively good health fortunes and the right moves made, this team could at least be a competent playoff team. At this point, it's pathetic that that's where the bar is now. JJ Dog, dude, I live in Jersey. Can't even watch Devils games because I'm in a Philly market. I have to pirate the games. Awful. Back to what I was talking about before. Like, why does everything have to be so difficult? Make the games easy for the fans to get on television. Make sure that Nike makes enough friggin' jerseys for Team USA. It's just like, everything feels like a struggle with being a hockey fan. Maybe I'm over dramatic, but it just feels like everything really is so much more of a struggle than it needs to be. Plenty of runway still left, 20 games remaining. Still in the playoff hunt. The future is bright. Jeremy Proper says, Panthers done. Bob gets traded to Edmonton and they still lose. Hot take. Yeah, it's wild. I heard those rumors earlier today. I feel like if the Panthers trade Bobrovsky, it's a little dirty, but I mean, it's a business, right? You got to do what you got to do, but wow. Bobrovsky overcoming all the chatter after he signed that big contract, won back-to-back cups. World's Worst Gamer. Anyone get a Devils jersey with a Chicago cut on the back for the name? Why would anyone do that? That's sadistic. To get a jersey with Washington cut on the back is seriously psychotic. Totally nutso stuff. David, 20 games remaining is a lot of games to move up the ladder. 40 points available. Yeah, but you have to. Man, you're gassing people up here. Richie, I hope I'm wrong, but it's Fitz. I do not think we will see anything significant in terms of big moves by Friday. C level, maybe a B-, but the big shit will happen off season. It's Fitz's MO. I agree. I don't think there's any big move happening at the deadline at all. If anything, it'll be the summer. The Jack open net miss at the end was brutal. Yeah, he threw the head up. He did the old head throw. Percentage on Keefe here next year? That one's tough. It seems like to me that Fitz will be here. So then if Fitz is going to be here and doesn't need to fire the coach, does he let him stay? Keefe, I think, is a coin flip. Because if Fitz does fire him and next season goes to hell, then Fitz is clearly exposed as the problem. Versus if he does keep Keefe on for next year, the season goes sour, and then waits to scapegoat Keefe until then. He's like, no, we're good. It was the coach's fault. So I don't know. There's a lot of parts at play here. If I've said it for a while now, if Fitz is able to fire Keefe and stay on, myself and many others are going to be furious. Doug says, no one was fired after the 9-0 loss to our division rival. No one is losing their jobs yet. Yeah, that Islander game, if there was ever going to be like a moment in the season where someone was fired, it would have definitely been the morning after that pathetic beating that the Islanders gave us. We just got completely destroyed. One of the saddest games I've watched probably ever. I mean, it was so bad. Didn't they get like the last 2 goals in the last like minute and a half or something? Duclair had a hat trick. Like that was just a bad game on so many levels. Ryan Demand says 3-game winning streak. Maybe we could go on a run here. Man, you guys are nuts. 1-1 Ducks and Isles. World's Worst Gamer, 42 minutes. I'm checking out early. I only have so much energy from the Devils these days. Take care. Go Devils. Take care, man. David Ace, I listened to earlier. It was a video about the trade deadline. My picks are Dougie, Siegs, and Cotter to get traded. No one is taking Dodano because he literally has 0 points the whole season. It doesn't mean that someone won't take him, though. You trade him for a super late pick or something. Someone may take a gamble if they want to have a veteran, depth player just in case of injury or something. I could totally see someone taking him. I don't think they're going to put that much stock into the 0 points. Obviously not a good stat, but Dougie, Siegs, and Cotter, I mean, those are pretty good guesses. I said I thought, 2 defenders are traded and Cotter and or Dodonov, so we're kind of similar in what we think is going to happen. John Fay, Markey is getting all the credit for this win because he was the only reason we were able to win this game. He played a big part in it, obviously. Solid Markey outing. The King says, you know what they should make? A bottle opener in the mold of Jack Hughes' teeth. That'd be a phenomenal item. Tropical Flamingo Ace, regardless of where we were at, when we beat down the Rags, let's get back to, for old time's sake, are you not entertained? For us diehards. Love this team, but hate ownership and Fitz. I don't know. Wins are supreme. Yeah, I guess, you've obviously noticed that given where the season has gone, I could not in my right consciousness, do the whole bits. I just can't do it. It feels dirty. I thought about it. Like, could I still do it? I'm like, I can't do it. The season's over. I can't do it. But I will bring it back for any Ranger wins this year. I will do that. I will bring it back for Ranger wins. 13th child, would Ace keep the Devils' first round 10th overall pick as it sits now? If not, what would you do with it? No, sir. I would not keep it. I would trade that shit. Trade it for a win now piece. That's what I wanted to do when we had the 10th overall pick a couple years ago and we took Salayev. I wanted to trade that pick. The year we had the 2nd overall that we drafted Nemo, I wanted to trade that pick. For those that may recall, that was the summer that Matthew Tkachuk was traded from Calgary to the Florida Panthers. And at the time, supposedly, like everybody else on the planet, like I mentioned earlier in this stream, the Devils were reportedly in on Matthew Tkachuk. And I definitely thought at that time there was a real chance to land him in a deal where we sent, as part of a package, the number 2 overall pick to Calgary. I thought that was the move that year. I really wanted to trade that pick, and we drafted Nemo. Listen, I like Nemo, but what could that pick have been used towards at that time? I don't know, but I certainly have no interest in drafting anytime soon. This team needs to make a push to win, and you're not going to get closer to being competitive today by drafting with first-round picks. You're just not. The Kane says Nemitz ain't getting traded. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Richie says, Ace, 3 wins in a row. Another hard-fought win. This team is starting to resemble something of what they looked like in October. I know it's a long shot still, but anything could happen in Jersey. Oh, you guys. You guys. Bonzo says, where could I purchase those game-used Devils Nerf pucks? What are Devils Nerf pucks? Snow says we can't scout or draft. Completely agree. Tropical Flamingo. This game was very exciting for 2 clubs with just pride on the line. It was very highly competitive. That's what you want to see. Alternative is not acceptable by any means. Yeah, very good game. Justin says, get Jack some help. Completely. Get that man a winger. 973 to Luca. I cannot figure this out. They played very well today, and this is a game after they faced Panthers yesterday. Stolarz stood on his head, but this is insane. Where was this team this whole season? The consistently inconsistent New Jersey Devils. You never know what version you're going to get, and tonight was a version hungry for a win. And good for the boys. Love to see it. Ryan Fisher, let's just entertain Ottawa deciding to make Brady available. What does that even cost? It would cost a lot, and I would gladly pay the price. It would probably be a first-round pick, a roster player or 2, and a prospect or something. It'd be a lot, and it would certainly be worth it. Ariel Fernandez says, any truth about Dougie going to the Penguins? I haven't heard anything about that specifically. People are just putting a bunch of nonsense out there, I think. But there are some guys with concrete info. I do believe Fitz is going to get a ton of calls on Dougie. Snow said as soon as Fitz took over, he ruined this team. It's true. David Chimes. Keith locker room speaks. Fitz is a jerk. We all know it. Let's deny Booze Face an early pick. Doug, good teams lose 2 in a row and say this is a must-win game. The Devils, however, lose 2 games in a row, then lose 3 more. It's over. David, Kovacevic ain't a deadline deal because of trade protection, and he's still definitely not 100%. That's the other thing I was thinking about, but I have to believe it might be something separate from his rehab, because I don't think they would have rushed him back or let him come back early if there was something like related to his surgery. If it's something completely separate, I mean, we may never know. But if he is capable of passing like the physicals or whatever they do after they trade guys, I do think the trade protection could be figured out if the situation makes sense for him. Richie, if we miss the playoffs, I'd be okay with Fitz keeping his job only if Keefe gets to keep his. So I'm personally not okay with Fitz getting to keep his job in any world. I think he should be gone. But I would not be as mad if your scenario plays out. Like I said 2 minutes ago, if Fitz fires Keefe and he stays on, like that would make me livid. Fitz being here no matter what would make me mad. But, Keefe should not be the guy to fall on the sword, obviously. Matthew E96, have you heard anything regarding the Nike USA jerseys? Are they going to make more and release them since they won? You can still get the Miracle jerseys everywhere. Well, very different in that the Miracle jerseys are just like reproductions or whatever you want to call it. Like millions of websites are selling those. It's totally different. Now, you could find bootleg jerseys everywhere. There's tons of bootleg Nike jerseys out there. In terms of the official Nike jerseys, I don't know that we have any concrete info on that. There's been speculation that they will make more. I've seen speculation that they will not make more. And so I don't think anyone knows for sure. I don't know if Nike has commented on it, but I will say it is hands down one of the most reckless mismanagements of something of this caliber, because there are literally millions of people across the country that would have spent their hard-earned money on jerseys if they were available, and they're not. And some of these people may order them down the line, but a lot of them will not. It's a fleeting moment kind of excitement thing. I think Nike really dropped the ball here. Really, really dropped the ball, because I think they could have sold tons and tons of jerseys. Tropical Flamingo, restless homestand features the hated Rags, a bad Flame Squad, a bad Blood game versus the Wings. Transitioning Kings game that certainly are winnable. Let's see how we handle. Keep the pride going, boys. I would love to see them just keep ripping it. Jason O'Grit's post-game presser was awesome last night. David, could see someone taking Dodonov for a 7th-round pick, only has a 10-team permissible trade list. Again, the way the season has went, it's only for a few months. He may waive to go to any playoff team. I think he'd be foolish not to. You go live in a hotel for a few months and you're on a playoff team. But why would you not do that? McEwen does not have a contract beyond this year. And so with his injury, I don't know what the hell happened. I feel like it's bad. And I feel like he's going to possibly be damaged goods. I don't think we re-sign him. I just can't see it. Super unfortunate, too. Really liked what he brought in the small sample size we saw, but 2 separate injuries. I mean, it's crazy. The injury curse was very real with this team. Who has a higher ceiling, Luke or Nemitz? I think in terms of overall defenseman, probably Nemitz. But if you're just talking about purely offensive production, definitely Luke. Yo, Snand, how would you feel if the Devils ended up going 17-3 and make the playoffs as we sell at the deadline? I mean, I would be ecstatic. That'd be completely insane. I don't think it could happen, but wow. Snow, I don't think they had a shot at Matthew. They gave up a 100-point player, Uyghur, and a first for Kachuk. We weren't matching that. But was anyone really that excited about Huberdeau? I mean, I guess because of the flashy point totals. What a gangster move by Zito. Knowing that Huberdeau is like, let's ship him and bring in Matty Kachuk. Rendich says, you give up whatever it takes for Brady. Would be amazing to see him in a Devils sweater. Completely agree. I trade whatever you want. As long as you still have Jack here, if you have Jack and Brady, you figure out the rest. David chimes, even if Kovacevic is healthy, he might be rusty. Teams looking for playoffs may not want that. Okay. Robbie's bench toss says, I bought a blank for $300 just because I don't trust a restock. Yeah, I'm an idiot, and I should have bought one early on. I foolishly was hoping they were going to release like the authentic versions of the jerseys, which I really want. As many of you know, I am a little bit of a jersey snob, and I don't particularly care for the replicas. So I really wanted the real deal on ice jersey, but I don't think those are ever going to be available. So I might just have to get the replica. And get it customized. But a white jack is definitely in the cards. That's a must. And for those of you that know my kind of philosophy and rules, it would be the first current player jersey of any team that I got since the glory days. I've only had Stevens and Marty jerseys. Have never worn another player. Couldn't do it. The Jack Hughes USA jersey will be my first like current player jersey purchase in over 2 decades. Richie Rob, Ace, what do you think about the Devils making a small move at the deadline and bringing a guy to drop the gloves? I always liked having McDermott around. We need a guy like that to protect Jack. I think the team like doesn't want any part of that. It seems like they really want to de-emphasize it. It's unfortunate, obviously. As fans, most of us love it. There are the people that are against it. But, that role has been somewhat de-emphasized in the league. There is still a place for it, but in terms of like guys that drop the gloves, they need to be able to play hockey as well. They can't just be like straight up goons. So I would like to see just some guys that are more willing to do it when they have to, but we need guys that can put the puck in the net. We really do. Yo, Snand, I got my Quinn and Jack USA jersey at the NHL shop in MIC. Very nice. Yeah, I should have just bought one early on, but I was, like I said, I was getting greedy. I thought they were eventually going to release the on-ice version, and that never happened. So here we are. David chimes, if McEwen is history, we need to add a fisticuffs guy. You guys are preaching to the choir. You know I'm a fisticuffs guy through and through. Hold on one second. I just got to grab something. I'm a fisticuffs guy through and through. Be right back. 1 second. The league is desperately trying to get rid of fisticuffs. Doug says we need something like, I don't know, a righty goal scorer, not Dougie Hamilton. Okay. Jay Snow. Fitz couldn't get Jack's brother, who was basically gifted to us. Not a chance in hell he gets Brady. That's the sad part, right? And I keep going back to that. It's like anytime I want to let my imagination run wild, I just think back to exactly what you just said. And I'm like, Quinn Hughes was gift wrapped on a silver platter, and this friggin' guy found a way to blow it. So with that body of work evidence, how can you have confidence in anything, honestly? And I hate to be that, sort of negative or whatever, but that's the reality. Like that was a gift wrapped deal. And for whatever reason you want to believe, it did not happen. We have an incompetent GM. John Fay says, you suck at your job when family, Brady, doesn't want to come to your team. I think that's an indictment too. Brady and Fitz are cousins. Brady's wife is from New Jersey. How many more advantages does a team need to try to land a guy like this? Richie, Brown has to go on power play 1, and Timo should be there. Been saying this all season, and so has our buys on Ace. Yeah, Timo should be cemented on power play 1. for the life of me, can't understand it still. Snow wants the righty one-timer threat. Doug, it was supposed to be Hamilton, and he did it in the 22-23 season, but now he barely lets that shot loose. I don't think he's the same in terms of the shooting velocity after that surgery he had. He still has a nice little snapshot and a wrister that he gets off, but in terms of just the full wind-up Dougie bomb cannons, you don't really see it anymore. And I think that's directly related to the injury. Pellet Smoker Overload says, I bought a Kovalchuk jersey and we've been cursed ever since. I did not. I fought the temptation. When all my friends over all those years were getting, some of them had Henrique, Parisi. There may have even been a Clarkson in the mix, Kovalchuk, Henrique. I was like, no. I like these guys, but they're no Cup champions. And I'm only putting Cup champions on this back. Only Cup champions on this back. Snow, it's insane how good Schaefer is. No one thought he'd be this good. Yeah, he has a chance to break the all-time, goals by a rookie defenseman. I think he needs 4 more to break Brian Leach's record. I mean, crazy stuff. Tropical Flamingo, love that ace. Coming back for rounds wins for our boys. Good looking out, my guy, when we beat them. Hopefully we do. We'll make a return for that, but that's a special occasion. Robbie's bench toss. I felt kind of happy for the Owls when they won the lottery, but now that Schaefer is this good, not so much. Yeah, he's gonna be a very, very good player for a very long time. Islanders winning that lottery at 10 is crazy. And didn't the lotteries happen like the day that something they got screwed out of something? Was it an All-Star game? Something? There was supposed to be something at UBS Arena, the Islanders Arena, and then it got canceled, I believe. I can't remember the whole story now. There was supposed to be something there, and then they announced that it wasn't happening. And then they're like, oh, they won the draft lottery. It was pretty wild. Jeremy Proper says, tanking is never the answer in the National. It penalizes you, not helping you. Justin Ace, do you think Florida trades Bob? I mean, I was hearing all this today. And it's a business, guys. I mean, more so than ever. But yeah, I could see it. I just don't know why they wouldn't want him for next year. Snow says you have to be. Wait, how do you something better odds not winning the lottery? And then Doug makes a great point. Says, what if we won one playoff series? It's true. All these high picks don't necessarily equate to success. And there's no better example of that than our beloved New Jersey Devils. 2 number 1s, a number 2. What was Luke, a number 4? I mean, a number 7 that was squandered on Alex Holtz. Justin says, Devils didn't win that playoff series against the Rangers. Schmid won that series against the Rangers. Akira Schmid, a forever franchise legend. Jeremy Proper, this group effed up how many drafts under Fitz? One more may put the stake in the vampire's heart. I think he's safe, folks. I think he's safe for good. Richie Rob, got to get the jersey ace before they're gone forever. Hell, my jersey has Marty on the back. Very nice. I have a game-worn one in the collection. I never felt the need to have one to wear personally. Doug says, you want a tank for a 17-year-old 3 years away from the NHL. Wake up, dude. David Chimes, expiring contracts that will be re-signed. Nemo, Gritz, Cotter, and White. Nemo, no arbitration, easily able to renew all now that Palat's gone. You think they bring Cotter back, huh? Doug says, no prospect is going to help us. Look at Salayev. Hopefully he pans out. Justin says, I think Dawes gets moved at the deadline. I mean, that could be interesting. Jay Snow, McKenna, Steinberg, Verhoff, Malhotra, Belchertz. John Fay, if Florida trades Bob, you think Fitz should throw his hat in the ring even if he really is an incompetent GM who sucks at his job and always comes in second or misses? There's no way. There's no way he's going to be in on Bob. Bobrovsky makes a ton of money, and we have our tandem for next year. Buckle up, folks. It's Markey and Allen next year. Year 3 of them. Year 3. I don't know why I feel so tired today. I just feel drained. Drano. Tank for teenagers. Nice. So it says, take it easy, buddy. I want to get a top pick. You can trade it or keep the player for a trade. I wish if we had a high, no matter what the pick is, honestly, for the first rounder, I'd like to trade it. I do think the team is obsessed with drafting with picks. And so I think we're going to draft with nearly every pick we have, and I'm going to be furious. John Fay Cotter's our shootout guy and our breakaway guy. I like it. Doug, we have Fitz as a GM. What team do you think this is? We have an incompetent GM incapable of drafting, constructing a roster, or managing books, and you want him to have another premium pick. Jason said, I want a pick. I want something pick. You want to finish 15. We could agree to disagree. All right, Snow, let's just say we end up with the 6th overall. 6 to 8. Are you drafting with it at 6 to 8, or are you trading it? Justin Smith, the one year the Devils are good in the shootout is the year they missed the playoffs. They're filthy in the shootout during the Kovalchuk era. For those that remember that, it was crazy. Snow, you don't have to cry about it. Richie Rob, I like Markey, but he's got a limited shelf life. Allen is arguably worth every penny we paid him, but I don't feel good about letting Nico Dawes walk. Well, it's not arguably worth every penny. He signed for $1.8 million. It's complete theft. Complete theft. Embracing Knights says we have 0 forward prospects. You have to take the pick. By take the pick, do you mean draft with the pick? Snow says first thought to trade the pick. All right, Snow. It's the right answer. Tropical Flamingo, I'm dreaming about the French Alps 2030 next and a bucket list item based on your journey to Italia for Olympics and to see USA Hockey in action live in beautiful France and Golden Goal 2, Jay Hughes. I fully plan on going to France for the 2030 Olympics. I am now officially an Olympics junkie. I will try to go to as many as I can for the rest of my life while the NHL is participating. There is absolutely nothing like it. It is phenomenal, and I certainly have been clinically depressed since I've been back from Italy. I've told you guys this. Life looks very different. Life looks extremely different. Whoa. David, Cotter doesn't command much money, worth 1.8 as a fourth liner, 2 years, no trade protection. I'd be okay with that. I like Paulie Cotter. I hope you're right. I could totally see them moving him too. So now I think the better the pick, the less we give up. Embracing Knight says draft the pick unless a team wants to lose a trade with us for a top 6 guy under 26. This is where I think people get crazy. Why does he have to be under 26? Why can't he be 28 or 29? Why does he have to be under 26? Complete arbitrary number. I think it's wild. Doug, let's just realize who's steering the ship and understand he's not capable of what you or I or any of us want. Snow said, I like Cotter. I agree with Ace's thought that they probably move on. I'd love to be wrong about that. It just seemed like he'd be a guy that a playoff team might want as either, a fourth liner or an extra even. Ice Cube, my Ice T says your videos made me want to go next time too. And you guys didn't even get to see the coolest stuff because the IOC came down on me. If you saw the cool stuff that I had, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it, There is nothing like Olympic hockey. If you like international best on best hockey, there's nothing like it. It's unbelievable. And if it's in a cool geographic place, I've never been to France. The first time I was ever in Europe was literally 3 weeks ago when I went to Italy. And I had a phenomenal time. Want to go to other parts of Italy and other parts of Europe. But, Olympic hockey in France, sign me up. Sign me up. I'm already counting. I'm starting the countdown. The countdown is underway. Nice 2030. Doug, so I'm being realistic, and if you didn't trade a second overall pick, 10th overall pick, what makes you think anything different will happen? There's so many different variables in a situation like this, but I'd have to believe that the more likely scenario is that they would draft with it, even though I wouldn't want to. Ice Cube, my IST says, I don't think you'll ever top this last one. Oh, I already know. That was the pinnacle. It could never be remotely as good as that, but it doesn't have to be. Not everything has to beat everything that came before it. I'm fully aware that, in Italy, which was like the number one place I wanted to go to in the world, USA goes on an incredible run, finishes 6-0 to win the gold medal. Overtime, thrilling victory in the quarters against Sweden and Jacob Markstrom after surrendering a late goal to force overtime. Then obviously the epic of all epic hockey games, the gold medal game, and our guy, Jack Hughes, gets the golden goal. It can never be topped. Forget topping it. I don't think anything can ever come close to it, but that's okay because even something half as good as that is still incredible. And so I am hoping to be in France, Nice 2030, to see the Americans defend their gold. Yeah, Olympics will be downhill from here. Italy, USA wins. Devil scores the golden goal. Couldn't have scripted it any better. Justin says grits was amazing tonight. Love me some grits. Embracing Night says because players tend to drop off at 30 unless they are elite or close to it, which is fine. Not everybody is going to be in their prime on any given team and even winning teams. You could win with guys that are not in their prime. Backs and Rack says keep grits in New Jersey for the rest of his career. I could see him being a lifelong Devil. Although I do think in the kind of sports climate we live in today, guys playing their entire careers with one team is becoming more and more rare. Robbie's bench toss, we need to win now while Nico and Jack are here. Without them, where even are we? Exactly. This is the thing. It's like people just want to keep kicking the can down the road and like not trying to win. Like, when are you trying to win? In 2032? Like, the time to win is now. Right now. Loser mentality. I agree, Doug. John Faces, I would say first round picks the next 4 years. France chalets. You already know, traveling. France chalets for the 2030 Olympics. I hope we can see those videos one day. Damn. Yeah, I'm trying to think of ideas. I got some really cool footage. Italy definitely got me traveling. At this point, when they're out of it, who cares? Faye says, traveling, I blame you for this. Kidding. I'm glad y'all had fun. It was an amazing trip. Amazing trip. Doug says, real fans care about winning. I'm with you. And he says, you want to see them lose. I mean, listen, there's these people that are of the, tank for a pick crowd. I'm not one of them. It was a top 2 vacation. What was number 1? Snow says, if you're not contending, the worst place to be is the mushy middle. Well, I think that's exactly where we're going to land. Snow said, really, Doug? Did you question my fandom? That made me upset. You guys are funny. Doug says, you're so irrational. Ace is talking about you kicking the can down the road. Just keep kicking it, Snow. I don't know that he wants to put off winning forever. I think in just this particular instance, he wants the higher pick. But I do kind of include it with the loser mentality. Future is bright. We'll one day win kind of thing. Like you gotta try to get something going quickly because the window is going to be closed, and to never even remotely be a serious contender, given what Fitz started off with here, is just criminal. It's absolutely criminal. David says actuaries say that forwards start to decline at 30 and drop off big, usually at 32. Defensemen tend to decline big at 34 and goalies 35. These are averages. Everyone is different. Doug, Yegorov is when we'll contend right 3 years from now. No one knows for sure, but what does the rest of the team look like at that point? What forwards are still here? Like, there's just so many question marks. We don't know what Nico's deal is. What happens with Brad, or what does Timo look like at that point? There's a lot. David says Crosby's 38 and still over a point per game. Crosby is a beast. Snow, so the difference is me and Ace can have a normal conversation. You're just a clown crying about your point. I think everyone just needs to chill, bro. No violence in here. Everyone calm down. We're all Devils fans. Save this ultra hostility for a shit platform like X, baby. Don't do it in the chat. Take this shit to X. Go fight. Go fight strangers on X. The best place to fight strangers. What a cesspool that place is. My God. Travis says Crosby is generational. Completely agree. Sid is just different stratosphere of player, Sidney Crosby. What a legend. Jeremy Proper says Stammer still got it too. I would still take Stammer. Even though I would have liked him a lot more a few months ago, I would still take him at the right price and assuming that Nashville retained some. I wouldn't want to pay all $8 million of that. Blackatron, 3 in a row is right. Luke, what's going on? I can't have any face with Booth's face still behind the wheel. It's never going to end. I think at some point it will. I just don't think it's going to end before next season. I think he's here for next year. I really do. As crazy as it sounds, I think Fitz is here next year, folks. My God. Jeremy Proper, hey, great news. Jake and Tate are exclusive. Yeah, we saw that online. John Fay, before we win games, we must figure out who or what the cancer is in this locker room and organization, and we all know who that cancer is. Cough, cough, Fitz, cough. Oh, man, I can't believe I'm sitting here looking for 7 months down the line. Puck drop on next season is literally 7 months away, folks. Sickening. Doug, you guys are still fighting. Embrace the night, the trade deadline, we always blow it, so it's a scary week for us. Well, I mean, this year is different. We're not in a playoff spot, so what are you expecting? Like, my expectations last year versus this year are very, very different. Last year, I was hoping to land an impactful piece for the playoffs. This year, it's like, well, what are we selling off, and what type of assets do you get back, and who's it going to be kind of thing. Travel in the past one was special. It could be number one easily, but for the first time I went to Italy, it changed my life drastically. I get that. The first time, nothing like your first time. This one happened to be my first time, so it was all wrapped in one. Evan, thank you for the super, sir. Thank you for all your hard work. Go Devils. Thanks for watching, my guy. Thanks for participating in the lives. Go Devils. 20 games left and 9 points back. Oh, my God. Now I'm going to be sitting here being like, well, if Boston can somehow lose the next however many games, you're still talking about jumping a shitload of teams, though. It's not going to happen, but it's nice to dream. David Chimes, Gordie Howe, 96-point season at 49. That's in the 70s when the game was still defensive leaning. Robert says, let's get Stamkos. Still want Stammer. Embracing Night, I'm actually terrified Fitz will try to add some more depth for no reason and give up assets. I hope not. Like, listen, at this point, we're going to need some bottom six tweaks, but I'm not really that concerned with it right now. Go get the big piece, the one that's eluded us for a couple years now. Get us the top six winger that will fit perfectly with Jack Hughes and finish some of his beautiful setups. Please. Please. Doug, I'm just tired of seeing the loser mentality every chat as if tanking is the solution. Maybe if you don't want me to insult your intelligence, think of something. Oh, boy. John Fay, I want to win at least before 2030. If that's too hard and too much to ask for, I don't know about anyone else, but I want to end the century or decade off with a cup or at least an Eastern Conference final appearance. This year was Eastern Conference finals or bust, in my opinion, and we busted. We busted badly. Backs and racks. Whoever keeps Timo from playing on his natural wing should be gone. I think that's an analytics thing. Someone asked me that on, I forget if it was on here or if it was on, all these things blend together in my brain. But someone had wrote something to me about that recently, and I said I think it is an analytics-driven thing. Faye, it's all I'm asking for before 2030 is an Eastern Conference Finals or Cup Finals appearance. Man, you're setting the bar really low, huh? You're giving them 4 more years just to make the conference finals. You're a lot more patient than I need to see something, and I need to see it soon. We've suffered long enough, damn it. We're long-time suffering fans. Embracing Night. I think our bottom 6 is great. It's the top 6 that's the problem. Grits, Glass, Brown, Siplikov, Bukestad, Nason could be really good for us next season. I'm curious to see what becomes of Nason. Super unfortunate for him as well with his injury. Anthony says, Mercer, Hamilton for Brady. If we have to add on Nemo, so be it. Well, I mean, Mercer and Hamilton's definitely not getting it done. Nemo, Mercer, and Hamilton probably still is not getting it done, but that's much closer. Traveling says we want October to get here again already. Isn't that crazy? That seems like in some ways the season just started and we're like, oh, we'll get them next year. Wait till next year. It's rough. It's rough. Jason says, I miss SST, man. Really? 2 years in a row waiting for October. American Swagger. Look at that gold medal. American Swagger hoodies and t-shirts. Link pinned in the chat. American Swagger. 2 years in a row waiting for October. It's sad. So sad. Faye says, that means I'm expecting our window of opportunity to be great these next 4 years to make that run. SST is still here. Are you not aware of what's going on here, Snow? He's still here, just under a different name. He never really left. Embracing Night, we got to lock Nemo up long-term for $7 million, in my opinion. The guy's probably going to be our best D-man by 2028 at the latest. I think he's going to be very good. I'm curious if he would take $7 million. I feel like he probably would, but who the hell knows, right? With these agents and stuff, maybe like 8 is their low number. I don't know. Or maybe they're like, we're firmly not taking a penny less than Luke, which would be crazy. Very curious to see how that all plays out. Face it, did we ever find out what happened to Woodson? What do you mean what happened to him? He was here not that long ago. He didn't like vanish. At least I don't think he did. I'm looking for something that I can't find. Gordy played with stand-up goalies. Ain't that something? Gordy played with stand-up goalies. I wish I could have seen Gordie Howe play live. That must have been a phenomenal situation. Facts and racks. Mercer's got to go. He's reached his ceiling. It's hard for me to say if I really what were your expectations from him? I know a lot of people thought that he was going to become this 60, 70 point guy. And I sort of get it, but not everyone's going to constantly do better than they previously did. I think he's going to be that 40 to 50 point guy that you could rely on to play every game. And, you could put out there at any point. Not many guys have that skill set. So I think at his current contract, he's well worth what he's being paid. And who knows what kind of role he could have on another team. But I do think a lot of teams are going to call for him. I don't know. I would feel very conflicted about trading him unless we got a huge piece back. If we get a huge piece back, I'm not that conflicted. But a lot of people are kind of down on him, and I get it. But to some extent, if he was making $7 or $8 million, I'd understand it more. For $4 million, I don't really know why so many people are down on him. I don't. But I just think it's just because there was unrealistic expectations to some extent because people just expected too much. And when it didn't happen, they're like, oh, this guy sucks. It's the nature of negative sports fans, I suppose. Seems to be everybody's kind of just Nemo in trade talks. Nemo's definitely in trade talks. And if they deal him, I hope it's not for junk. Better be something good. Better be something good. Oh, by the way, real quick memorabilia thing here. This is the greatest deal I've ever seen in sports, and I'm not exaggerating. I just dropped the link in the chat. This is not only is this our guy, not only is this our team or most of our teams. This is one of the most. Someone said this might be a more iconic photo than Rocky Balboa beating Drago. Jack Hughes, the most iconic photo ever, a 16 by 20. This hand-signed photo from Fanatics for $99.99. I just dropped the link in the chat twice. I think this could potentially sell out. I'm not sure, but I wanted everyone to know for Devils fans and collectors and people that want something cool, I have never seen a better $99 item in my entire life. Easily the greatest $99 item of all time. A beautiful 16 by 20 color photo of the iconic Jack Hughes smashed up teeth grin after scoring the golden goal. It's unbelievable. Link in the chat. I do think it eventually will sell out. They're going to have this kid signing millions of these things. And at some point, they're probably going to shut it down. But $100, $99.99, most insane value I've ever seen. Link in the chat. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Hit the link. Nemo can probably fish something big, but I say we keep Nemo. To me, it just depends on what you could get, what you're talking about. I would prefer to keep him, but if someone is going to give us a massive, big-time forward and he's involved in a package, then so be it. David Chimes, I met Gordie Howe at an NHL trophy exhibit at Grand Central Station in the 90s when the All-Star game was at MSG. He hung out with me and my father and talked hockey. My father grew up watching him. That must have been phenomenal. Paz just came home from the game. One of the best I've been to. My playoff hopes is still alive. Oh boy. You're just on a post-exciting game attended live high right now. Calm down. You're a little high, Paha. Sit down, get a drink of water, get all your senses back, and let's talk in the morning. You're still on a post-game high. You're not thinking clearly. You got to wait till the morning. Tropical says, sounds like we'll all be in France in 2030. Multiple spots areas going to have events in France. Need to find that signature dish out there. A lot of cream-based foods in France. Heavy cuisine, delicious. I will certainly be eating a lot of it. Travis said, my dad had dinner with him once in New Jersey. That's pretty cool. Embracing Night says, that's a good photo for sure, and I could say that as a Canadian Devils fan. It's an iconic photo. John Fay, 112 watching and 66 likes. Make sure you hit that like button, you bums, and subscribe to Ace. Thank you, John Fay. Hit the thumbs up for your boy, for our New Jersey Devils. If you're not subscribed. Subscribe. If you are subscribed, maybe hit the notifications, maybe, so you don't miss out on stuff. It's just a thought. Just a thought. Doug says, I think it's funny how the fans taking photos with Jack are telling him to smile to show his teeth. They should. All right, guys, I'm going to go take a bathroom break real quick. We'll start wrapping this up. Don't chirp me, Snow. These things are taking a toll on me. Thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you got, throw it out in the chat. I'll be back in a minute. We'll start winding this thing down. Damn, I can't believe it's already March. I got to get my stuff in order because I'm planning some really cool stuff coming up. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Some cool stuff coming up. And some hopeful stuff that the fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. You know, I always got some ping pong balls in the air trying to make things happen. I got people, places, and things in my way, but I'm trying. I'm trying to overcome these obstacles. Tropical Flamingo, customizing a hoodie that's going to read Devils Fan Club, French Alps 2030, NJ for life, the good life. All right, be right back. I guess I'll leave that up there. I'll drop the link in the chat again. This is clearly the best $99.99 item of all time. I firmly believe that. Like, there was something else that they added too. This is a cool Jack Hughes hoodie with this photo on it. I just dropped the link in the chat. Clint Malarchuk for goalie coach. That'd be an interesting one. All right, back in a minute. Throw it all out there. I'll be back in a minute. We'll start wrapping this thing up. Be right back. Ow. For those that don't remember or don't know, Clint Malarchuk was the goalie that had his throat slashed with the skate, and he almost died on the ice. John Fay Ace, I know we're still a bit away, but what plans do you have when you hit 10K subs? I mean, I don't really have any plans. What am I going to do? Big deal. In the end, I appreciate everybody. This has been a fun ride. It's allowed me to do some cool stuff. I'm hoping to be able to do cooler stuff in the future, which includes a lot of different things. Obviously, some sort of in-person events and stuff people have asked about. I'm still kind of working through all that. But in terms of plans, I mean, what am I going to do? It's a fairly meaningless thing. I'm not going to light off fireworks or anything, if that's what you were looking for. Doug, pretty sure Ace has the most sub Devils podcast already, right? So 10K. I don't know, but you know, it's all an experience. It's all a journey. It's all a journey, friends. See where we could climb to with all of this stuff. Austin, here comes the New Jersey Devils playoff surge push. Devils get really hot. They can sneak into the playoffs. Oh, you guys, one exciting win like this, and a lot of you guys are talking reckless like this. Come on now. You're going to give false hope to people that don't know any better. Chowden says Jack should buy Bennett dinner for the high stick. I mean, honestly, the busted teeth make the photo. I mean, the photo would be iconic even if his shit was normal. But the fact that he ate the stick, has the cracked up teeth, and then scores the golden goal and the iconic flag shot, legend. Legend. Snow says no chirps. Stick taps tonight, another 2 hours down, and all the comments read. Oh, man, I'm trying. I'm waiting for my bottle at 151 after you pass out. Yeah, right, Snow. Yeah, right. 151, your boy got the weight. Unless you're a super heavyweight, too. I'm just going to play the statistical odds that I do have the size advantage. And I probably, no shade or disrespect, but I probably have the experience advantage as well, I would think. And so I think the combination of the two would serve me well. Experience, weight. This is a very size-driven thing for alcohol, obviously. I like my odds. I think I'll be the one with the camera filming. Snow passed out. Austin, I believe in the Devils. We can make the miracle run happen. Oh, boy. Traveling wants it. Playoffs. Faye, Ace is going to be big. Yeah, it's a lot coming up. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, trade deadline, and then the Rangers game, Rangers postgame, and Wings postgame. We got a lot coming up. Travis, remember last trade deadline and Ace's marathon show, Angry AF. I was furious. I was so pissed last year. Justin Smith, Ace, what happened to all the positivity you had in October? I mean, what happened was November, December, January, and February happened. That's what happened. I was loving life during the heater, and then slowly but surely, it all slipped away. Slip away. Just curious if you were thinking of doing something. Not that I have nothing. I got nothing. You got any suggestions? I got nothing. That was a rough show after Sprong and Glass. I was furious. Doug, we ate up the fool's gold. I mean, Mercer was a point-per-game player, and everyone was flying high completely. There was so many signals that, like, oh, it's coming together. Mercer's that top six guy, and Jack looks like the Hart candidate that we all wanted him to be. We have this young, exciting player in Grits. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Jason Ace having a live watch long this year at a bar. I'm hoping. Doug says December 1st came around and they just kept losing and losing. So it's an experience. I think we're even, but I do think I might fall face down, but I'm here for it. I'll respect the attempt. It's a lot more than a lot of other people could say. John Fay, December is the Devils' kryptonite. Everyone knows that the month of December is always brutal to the Devils. Man, I just can't believe we're here again. 7 months till next season, folks. Evan, Ace during the trade deadline last year was awesome, but the Devils didn't do anything. It was not awesome. I was so pissed. So pissed. I was really expecting something of substance, and we got Sprong and Glass. Damn. Reds are American whiskey. I'm lazy. I was thinking something a little bit more in my neck of the woods. I know some places that could be, I'm a big food guy. I'd like it to be a little bit better than bar food. Not to be snobby, but Doug said to be a fly on the wall for the Chicago Cut incident. Oh, boy. Angel Diaz, thoughts on Grits? I think he's one of the few positives of the poor season. Yeah, we talked about him earlier. I'm not a huge fan of silver linings and kind of moral victories, but one of the few positive things you'll be able to say after this season is that Grits looks like he's going to be a good player for this team. One of the very few positive takeaways. Now, let's see if we can get him signed in the summer without a drama, without missed days of camp. My neck of the woods is like the Little Falls, Cedar Grove, Wayne, Totowa area. That's where I'm at. Evan says you're awesome, Ace. I appreciate that, Evan. Thank you. Classic line from, oh, are you crying? There's no crying in baseball. Man, Tom Hanks has been in so many great movies over the years. I'm super North Jersey. What's super North Jersey? North Jersey is pretty big. I guess I got to wait 4 minutes to hit the 2 hours, right? I got a quota now. Snow's going to talk shit, so I got 4 more minutes. What else you guys got? Closing time. Oh, Bergen County. Snow, you think I'm going to let a Bergen County kid outdrink me? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We got 3 minutes. Anyone got anything good? Any good stories? American swagger, folks. American swagger. Whatever it takes. Look at that graphic. Whatever it takes. American swagger, hoodies and t-shirts. Link pinned at the top of the chat. Get yours before they're gone. Limited edition. Faye says, anything above Tom's River, I would assume snow. No, I'm a New Yorker. We got Crazy Alex representing. I think it's supposed to say Morris County. He put Morris Country. Evan, I'll be at Prudential Center on May 11th for college graduation. Very nice. You guys are hitting the movie quotes. I just moved to Jersey. Don't insult me like that. Okay. Fair enough. Justin, what kind of idiots do you have working here? The finest in New York. Oh, man. Home Alone. The Home Alones are just such gems. My little nephews love Home Alone. I mean, how could you not, right? Everybody loves Home Alone. One of my buddies argues that Home Alone should be considered the greatest movie of all time because he's never met someone who did not like it, which I think is a very fair indication. If you think about it, like what other movies or movies have such a unanimous approval rating? Like, did anyone ever watch Home Alone and be like, that movie wasn't good? I've never met that person. Furthermore, if I did, I don't know that I could trust a person that didn't like Home Alone. Classic. Doug, last Devils game I went to, I had more fun chatting it up with the Sabres fan next to me. Told him I hope they make the playoffs. They deserve it. Looking like they're going to do it. Let's see what these idiots on Twitter are talking about. You're getting chirped for the 2-hour thing. The Sticky Bandits. What kind of animal doesn't like Home Alone? I don't know. Anthony, I can't trust a person that doesn't love Bronx Tale. Bronx Tale is a classic. Possibly my number one favorite movie of all time. Harry, I've reached the top. Yeah, I actually just said that the other day. It may have even been in the vlog, actually. I said that to Travelin, or I don't know if he was even next to me. I think he was, but I don't know if he picked up on it. When we got to the top of the Duomo, I said, Harry, I've reached the top. Put him in the bathroom. Put him in the bathroom. I'm from that part of the Bronx. Very nice. Did you ever go to Deuce's Wild? Doug, nah, I can't have that face while he's rolling. Put him in the bathroom. I don't want to go in the bathroom, Sonny. It's embarrassing. Grew up on that block. Very, very cool. Home Alone and A Bronx Tale. Legendary. Legendary stuff. All right, that's it, guys. Now you can't leave. One of the best scenes of the movie. When he locks the door. Now you can't leave. All right, folks. That's it. Appreciate you all. Thanks for coming out. Back in action. Saturday's the game, but we got Friday the trade deadline. So no, I haven't been to Arthur Ave. It's been on my list for a while. I've been to the Bronx, but more like Yankee Stadium. I don't know. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I'll probably have at least a video or a live tomorrow, I would think. One or the other, or maybe both. Maybe we'll get a double dose tomorrow. Double dose, or at least a single dose. There'll be something tomorrow, I think. Something tomorrow, and then we got Friday all day deadline day, and then we got Saturday Rangers. Yeah, wow. And then Sunday Wings, then another 3 days off. What a schedule, what a life. What a schedule, what a life. But American Swagger, link in description of the video. This is quality stuff. Champion garments. Not any just crappy, junky hoodies. Champion sweatshirts, champion t-shirts, top-notch quality, American Swagger. Link in the description on the website. But that's it, guys. Devils win an exciting one. One of the more exciting games in quite some time. Markey with the back-to-back starts. Who would have thunk it was allowed? 3 in a row for the boys. Can they just keep it going and try to make it interesting and suck us back in and break our hearts further? It might happen. Would love to see him do the impossible. I'm not counting on it, but we'll see. One game at a time. Deadline is Friday. Who stays, who goes. High drama, but Devils went 4-3 via the shootout. Markey a solid game, and the boys roll on. Big matchup with the Rangers on Saturday afternoon. And that's it, folks. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm exhausted. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.